Welcome back. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the fan studios. See Sparky, Fifer with you. Hour number 2. And lots to get to this hour, including Andrew Wagner, Forbes Sports Brewers writer, brought to you by Focus Baseball, comes up here in about 15 minutes. Charlie Sounds of the Day, brought to you by Prize Picks. That comes up at 3:40, top 3 clips of the day. And Charlie's on the other side of the glass in the break, getting some clips ready from today's locker room session with a bunch of different players. Ryan Wood of the Green Bay Press-Gazette was there, sent us a bunch of that, and looking forward to hearing about that. Don't forget, Ryan Wood joins Tommy Wirtz and myself for the Green Bay football postgame show after Packer games this season. So after the game's done, you make your switch here to the Fan. We'll take your calls, go inside the locker room, hear from the players, the coaches, hear from Ryan Wood as well after every game all season long. Make the switch here to the Fan, including coming up on Thursday night. Charlie, you had some news from the NFL before we get into this topic of defense and Micah Parsons.
I do, courtesy of Adam Schefter on ESPN. He reported that NFL is fining Eagles defensive tackle Jalen Carter $57,000 for spitting on Dak Prescott. The league also adds the game he was ejected for will serve as a one-game suspension, but Carter will play Sunday versus the Chiefs. After talking to the Eagles, the NFL, and the NFLPA, Jalen has decided not to appeal and focus on the Chiefs game.
If you are watching on YouTube, 2 thumbs down. That's brutal. I mean, that is absolutely the wrong take on that. Now, Troy Vincent is over there doing his thing and all of that. That's hot garbage is what that is. Like, that dude should have been suspended for a couple of games at this point. You cannot – if the penalty is 50 G's for dudes making millions of dollars in the league, and I know I'm going to get kicked out and I get fined 50 G's, that's the line in the sand you're going to set for spitting on another player? Hey, man, do not, I repeat, do not get public with this, Roger Goodell, at the end of the year and go, man, this spitting on people have got to stop, man. We've had 10 incidents so far this year because you fools are the one that drew the line in the sand to make it only $50,000, and then he don't even get another game. And then did you see what happened this weekend? It happened in a college football game over the weekend too. Guy spitting on another guy. That's a horrible decision. That is absolute failure by the NFL league office.
Which is kind of crazy because 2 weeks ago on Charlie's Sound of the Day, I played a clip of Troy Vincent talking about how much they wanted to protect the sportsmanship in the game and that they're going to crack down on celebrations that involve shooting guns and all these other violent or mean gestures and stuff like that. How is this not considered a violent or mean gesture that's hurting the sportsmanship of the game?
But it's not celebration.
Well, it should be worse then.
Yes.
The fact that it's not a celebration,
Yes.
the fact that he just did it out of the angst that he felt in that moment, that
Correct.
should mean that it's an even worse action.
Yeah, absolute failure by the NFL. I cannot say it enough how disappointed I am by that decision. That's just not good stuff. And again, even from the aspect of, you could say, well, they're not role models, Sparky. It doesn't matter. Yeah, but man, whether you want me role models or not, kids mimic what they see, right? And that's part of the reason why you're trying to get rid of the violent celebrations for, with the guns and whatever else the case may be. That's why you're trying to get rid of it, right? Because you don't want these kids doing the same thing at their high school games or their junior high games or God forbid, the grade school games. So I get that. But at the same point, then you should be even harsher on this. You don't want kids spitting on kids in high school or grade school or whatever else. Because you know what's going to happen now? Some high school kid's going to spit on another high school kid. The penalty is going to be way more severe. And then mom or dad are going to get mad and go, in the NFL, the guy didn't even get suspended a game. He got kicked out of that game, and that was it. Why can't Johnny play for the next 5 weeks of the high school season because he spit on somebody? That's harsh. That's over the top. I'm going to take you to court. That horrible. Absolutely horrible. So there you go. So that's my take on that going forward, and Charlie's take. We agree there. So again, Andrew Wagner coming up. We'll talk Brewers baseball at 3:20. I want to talk about Micah Parsons and this Packers defense. This Packers defense was swarming to the football. They were playing more physical than the Detroit Lions. They were creating turnovers. They created the interceptions because of the Parsons pressure. That's what created that interception for Evan Williams. They were doing everything you could potentially ask at a defense to do in the National Football League, and they did it, I think, for 4 quarters. They did it for 4 quarters consistently. without some all-pro cornerback or some Pro Bowl cornerback. They don't have anything like that, and they were still able to do it at that level. To me, when we say what makes a successful season for the Packers defense, now that they have Micah Parsons, you can dial it up like KJ and West Allis did. He's on hold. We'll get to him momentarily. Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Facebook and Twitter at The Fan Milwaukee. Sound off with a recorded voice message on the Odyssey app. We'll get one of those. We'll play those back for you. Charlie is all over that, as is Tommy Wirtz. For me, it's a top 3 defense, top 3 in sacks by the defense as well, top 3 in turnovers as well by the Packer defense. So top 3 in turnovers, top 3 in sacks, top 3 in yards allowed. Those would be the 3 categories I'd want to see the Packers top 3 in. If they're in those top 3 in all 3 of those categories, that's a Super Bowl caliber defense. And that's a defense that can carry your offense through the postseason if need be, because they are that good. And it's been a long, long time since we've seen a defense play like that. KJ, West Allis, you're next. Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's here on The Fan. Sparky with you. What's up, KJ?
Hey, what's going on, Sparky? Thanks for taking my call. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hey, to your point, to begin with, I totally agree with your take on Carter not being suspended and getting a slap on the wrist. $50,000 is
Nothing.
like they got that under their mattress.
Yep.
Man.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So that's not going to do anything. I saw a dude get suspended a couple games in a soccer league over the weekend at the same time. So you're telling me the NFL can't have a much harsher penalty? And that's part of the unsportsmanlike conduct business that they're supposed to be clamping down on. Anyway, with the Micah Parsons, man, you can line that dude up anywhere on the front line. And that's what they did. He's going to draw double teams, maybe even triple teams. So that's going to unleash Van Ness. That's going to unleash your linebackers, and your back end is going to be much stronger. So I anticipate them being possibly in the top 3, Sparky, for those categories that you mentioned, just because of his potential of just being a game wrecker.
Correct. And that's exactly what he has been to this point. And again, he wasn't even going 100% at that point in this last game. So that's all part of it. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it. He's going to get even better. And think about it this way. That's one of the best tackles on the schedule. He took him apart and really hadn't had a chance to even get a lather going. He even have his breath half the time he was out there playing, trying to do his thing. You imagine what he's going to do to the other tackles? I mean, just look at that Bears game last night. I can't wait to see what those tackles do.
Darnell Wright's going to be peeing down his leg, man.
I can't wait to see what they do with Micah Parsons when the Bears get there, when the Packers get the Bears this season. And I know it's later in the season, but I'm telling you, I am excited to see what that looks like. I'm excited to see what the Vikings do, because they're going to have to chip. They're going to have to double team. They're going to have to pay attention. And then you're going to open up other guys to get free to the quarterback, get free into the backfield to make, running back tackle for losses and so forth. It's going to change the entire way you play this Packers defense. There's going to have to be more thought put into how are they going to go against Green Bay,
which I think is the benefit of some of the other teams here that the Lions just didn't have. Again, they had 1 week to prepare for this, and Micah Parsons is talking about how he was the one fighting for more snaps to get back onto the field, and that he wanted to play more, and that he just wanted to go out there and play football. I mean, hearing that from the Lions' perspective has got to be terrifying, because he's just itching to go play in a new situation and show what he can do for this franchise. If I'm these other teams, you start immediately after that, first quarter, it feels like, for this Packers team to start game planning for a guy like Micah Parsons at this point, because he is the X factor for this Packers team and this Packers defense.
And Thursday, 2 days away, they have another game. I cannot wait. Get us to Thursday. And the Brewers are off, I believe, on Thursday, so even better.
Yep.
Washington knows about Micah Parsons. They've dealt with Micah Parsons for the last 4 years. They know what they got themselves into. The difference is they got Micah Parsons, they got Adrian Cooper, they got Rashawn Gary. It appears Lucas Van Ness is going to line up over centering guards. That's going to be a problem. You have Xavier McKinney and Evan Williams in the back, ball hawks. Like, there's a lot more going on with what the Packers have to put on that field than Dallas had.
Just in case you were wondering, Micah Parsons versus Washington in his career has 23 solo tackles, 9 assisted tackles, and 10.5 sacks in 8 games versus the Commanders.
He averages over a sack a game against the Commanders.
Sacks. He has 1 game where he didn't record a sack versus Washington. Other than that, he's had at least a half a sack in each game that he's played against them. Yeah. Good luck.
But see, there's going to have to be some strategy here because you come run. He ain't going to close on Jaden Daniels like he closed on Goff. He ain't closing on that dude and catching him from behind and tackling him.
He had 2.5 sacks against them last season in the 1 game that he played.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, that's the thing, right? I mean, this is where if I'm halfly, I bring Micah Parsons in and just be like, what did you all feel like was the best way to go about this with Jaden Daniels? What was the best way? How did you guys figure out how to attack him? He keeps saying Micah Parsons is really smart and he picks up stuff quick and all that. Ask him, like, what were y'all doing that really worked? Because this is what I'm thinking. And let those two kind of go back and forth of how they want to attack it. And then when you get to halftime, Micah can be talking to Jeff like, hey, man, I think if we do this, they won't see it coming and we can really take advantage in the second half. There's so many elements of this Parsons deal other than just getting sacks where he helps the team. He helps the defense and the coaching staff. Again, not only the physical stuff, the leadership stuff, the brain stuff, everything that kind of goes along with it moving forward. Andrew Wagner, Forbes Sports Brewers writer. Time to go inside the clubhouse, presented by Focus Baseball. After the Brewers get shut out by the Rangers last night, he's coming up next. And don't forget the Potawatomi Sportsbook, your place to catch shuttle to and from every home game the rest of the year and into the playoffs. They start 1 hour before every game. The shuttles stop running 1 hour after every game. All you have to do to get onto a shuttle is simply make a purchase at the Potawatomi Sportsbook or make a same game day wager, and you are ready to go and hop on that shuttle. Now, parking is free at Potawatomi. No got paid for parking. So if you'd rather go to the parking lot at American Family Field and pay $25 or $30 or whatever it is you're going to pay to park your car there, by all means, go ahead. But if you'd rather say it's an afternoon game, this is my example that I like to use, right? Go over to the Potawatomi Sportsbook, maybe have yourself a beverage or two, pregame a little bit, go to the stadium, have a good time, have reservations made at one of their nice restaurants for after the game, and they're like 6:30. Come on back, maybe sit in the sports book, maybe go play some roulette or something, go have a nice dinner, nice little dessert, and then head home for the night. That right there, that is a full day and a great day to take advantage of. And it all revolves around the free shuttle, essentially. But you have to do one of those things, but essentially, shuttle to and from the games at Potawatomi.
And you don't got to plan a single thing. Potto's got it for you right there, all in order. It's perfect.
Everything's in order, right? Exactly right. And you're not driving home until after you're done having dinner and dessert that night. So, again, makes all the sense in the world. Go to Potawatomi.com/sportsbook for more details. Potawatomi.com/sportsbook for more details. Andrew Wagner, Forbes Sports Brewers writer, next. I'm so old that I listened to this song virtually every day, I think, for most of my high school career. Like I literally like all the time. I actually have this on my playlist on my Spotify account. Let's Get Rocked by Def Leppard. Yeah, man. Used to have windows rolled down, stereo blasted. My buddy Chuck's, he had a Camaro, had T-tops. So I had those off. Man, we thought we were cooler than you know what back in the day. We definitely were now a couple bowlers. But
Back in 1692?
I don't know why.
Driving the cars with your feet like the Flintstones.
I don't know why I work with you. I really don't. I mean, I can have anybody, and I roll with you every day of my life. I just love you so much. Charlie Using over there. He's a nice guy. See Sparky Fifer over here. Time now to get to another really nice guy. This guy.
What's the latest on the crew? Let's go inside the clubhouse with Drew Wagner of Forbes Sports on Wisconsin Sports Daily. Served up by Wendy's on 1250 AM and 1057 FM The Fan. Inside the Clubhouse is brought to you by Focus Baseball. Sign your kids up now for July open tryouts at focusbaseball.com. Ages 6 to 17.
You know, I swear to you, I thought we had that fixed. We worked on it all morning, and then we clearly put it into the wrong number. So once again, it's wrong. It's okay, though, because I know what it's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. Fall mini camp. Sign up for them today at focusbaseball.com. As I always say, it does not matter if you are playing for Focus Baseball or not. They will take you. They will coach you up. They will treat you like one of their own. And if you are a parent looking to have, maybe your kids aren't playing fall ball, or maybe they are playing fall ball, but you're still looking for some extra practice, because a lot of these fall ball teams are daddy baseball teams and so forth. Go get some real coaching. Go over there to again focusbaseball.com and sign up for the fall mini camps. Joining us now, he is Andrew Wagner of Forbes Sports, as you heard on the Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. Follow him on Twitter at @byAndrewWagner. Hello, Mr. Wagner.
Let's get ready to rock.
Let's get ready to rock. Let's talk about this Milwaukee Brewers team and decisions abound here by the Brewers, as we are all waiting on the decision the Brewers are going to make involving Rhys Hoskins. I have my email open. I do not see anything from the Milwaukee Brewers as of yet to a decision on what they're going to do with who is coming off of this roster for Rhys Hoskins, but they have to make a decision today, I believe, Mr. Wagner.
Yeah, they got to make the decision today. They'll probably make it. I mean, guys are just reporting to the park, right around now, within the next hour. Like, they don't even have to be there yet. And I'm looking here that Trevor McGill was actually throwing a live BP about 45 minutes ago down at Globe Life Field. So there's another decision that will have to be made in a couple days. But yeah, they'll announce something within the next hour or two.
What is your expectation?
I was talking about this with Tommy last night, and I honestly don't know, man. Like I used yesterday as an example. Rand Anderson comes back. You're assuming that Piamps is going to get DFA'd, and they're going to use Yoho to get some experience and eat some innings here. And the exact opposite happened. I don't know. There's a couple of options they could go with. I know one that would make you very happy. Sigler getting sent down.
Mr. Wagner, we got into a big fight today, me and Tommy, on the Mason Crosby show, because I filled in on the first hour of the show from 9 to 10. And the very end of the first hour, you can go back, listen to it, or watch it all unravel on YouTube as well, or listen to it on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. And that is this whole idea of Murphy in Kurt Hoag's piece today in the Journal Sentinel, talking about how he views Bowers, Hoskins, and Vaughn as three offensive players. That's how he views them. And my response to that was, okay, fine. If it's going to be all about offense, then why not make the decision to get Isaac Collins onto the field with Yelich, Frelick, and Churio in the outfield, and then let whoever is not going to be at first base in the field, one of those other two guys, be the DH once you get to the postseason. Now, the only way that works is if Isaac Collins is coming to the infield. And originally I had said, because Tommy had brought up that he was taking some grounders at third base the other day, and my idea was fine. Then he plays third, shortstop is Ortiz, second base is Terang. Then Mitch Thundernelis hopped in and said, but wait a second, the most time he's spent at any infield position in his career is second base. And that means at that point, then Terang goes to short, Ortiz goes to third, and at second base then becomes Collins. I just don't know whether or not they would be that daring, that adventurous, that gutsy to attempt to move Isaac Collins to the infield this late in the game prior to the postseason starting, because it could burn you if defensively he can't handle it.
I mean, I agree with you there. I don't think it's the right move. I think it's good to get him some reps. He was taking some infield work. He's done quite a bit, I think, over the last couple of weeks. I mean, it's always good to have that as an option late innings when you're juggling things around. And it's never good to get refreshed, or never bad to get refreshed there. I don't know. Like the DFA, I think the easy assumption going into this past weekend would have been they DFA Jake Bauers, and then Jake Bauers heats up and goes on a tear. When you think, okay, maybe they send down Siegler, but do you really carry 3 first basemen? I don't know. Like I wish I could give you like an answer or even a guess, but with the way things have gone lately, I have no idea which way they're leaning on this whole thing.
I would think it's Siegler at this point, but then again, then it becomes, well, Monasterio is hitting so well that Monasterio and or Durbin then are playing third base every day, and then Terang and Ortiz is up the middle. But nobody has addressed another issue, which is, what if they tell Rhys Hoskins, it's been real, you're being released, and we're going with what we have at the major league level?
I don't see that happening. I really don't. I mean, he's one of the few guys in that room that's got any kind of legitimate postseason experience.
Yep. Clutch.
Got a ring. Yep, clutch. I don't see that. I mean, it could happen. You know, again, you never know with this team. But I don't see that being the case. I
would be pretty mad if Rhys Hoskins was let go. I'm just telling you now. I don't think I'd handle it very well. I think I would be.
Well, let me put it this way, Sparky. I don't see the Brewers paying a guy with that kind of slug potential to sit the bench the last 3 weeks. You know, like I don't see them eating that cost.
That's what it sounds like it's going to happen anyhow. It sounds like it's going to be Vaughn at first base, and Hoskins is going to be on the bench in a reserve role. I mean, maybe
I misphrased that. I don't sit on his couch is what I meant to say. I don't see them paying him to send him home is what I'm saying.
But just stay there on the bench idea, because that's what it appears it's going to be. And maybe I'm crazy. Maybe my memory is going in my old age, and Charlie says it all the time that it is. But Rhys Hoskins is not as bad of a defender as what I've been watching Andrew Vaughn trying to play defense. I mean, seemingly every series there's an error by Andrew Vaughn, it feels like, at first base.
That adds to the wrinkle. Jake Bauers is the best defensive first baseman that they have. Rhys Hoskins is not a great defender. He's capable, but using great or good, even good defender with him, you don't hear it very often. You can hold his own,
Vaughn?
But Vaughn was the only guy they had for the longest time. You know, that was the big thing, because both Hoskins and Bauers were hurt, and he was hitting. Listen, dude, I sit here, I watch this team every single day, and I have to scratch my head sometimes, because to me, it doesn't make sense. I'm not the one that has to make sense to it.
Correct. It doesn't make sense to me either half the time of what they're doing either. Talking with Andrew Wagner, Forbes Sports, Brewers writer. Again, follow him on Twitter by Andrew Wagner, brought to you by Focus Baseball. Fall minicamps right now, focusbaseball.com. Okay, Mr. Wagner, so we talk about that. You brought up McGill throwing as well down there in Texas. Now, realistically, what this needs to look like, right, is the back end of this bullpen is McGill, Uribe, Kane.
Hold up. We got the move. Hold up.
Okay.
Rhys Hoskins reinstated from the 10-day. Chad Patrick recalled for Nashville. Carlos Rodriguez option in Nashville. And brace yourself, Sparky. Here it comes. Anthony Siegler option to AAA Nashville.
Goodbye. Enjoy your time in Nashville, Tennessee. First drink on Sparky. That's a beautiful thing. It's great. Now that means I think Monasterio and Durbin are at third base now. Siegler back in Nashville. And then I got confused and everything and forgot everything else that you said. What did you say about Chad Patrick? Where is Chad Patrick?
Chad Patrick's been brought back from Nashville. He's going to start tonight because they're trying to give everyone an extra day of rest.
Right. Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah. So,
fine.
yeah, when they sent out Carlos Rodriguez.
Right. Yeah, that's fine. No, and that's fine too. So, so Chad Patrick is back. That's good. Reese Hoskins is back. That's good. I would start Reese Hoskins right away if it was me, but we'll see what he does. So those two are back. Siegler is gone. That is finally done with. And I'm happy about that. Now, I'd like to tell you that I believe this is how this is going to look the rest of the way, but I do not trust this team of not bringing back Siegler and ruining everything that I'm getting excited about between now and the end of the season. So cautious optimism that Siegler is not brought back at this point. Now, do they let Durbin play every day, or is Monasterio going to rotate with Durbin? That now becomes the next question.
Well, Durbin's he started 16 in the last 17, and he's not been hitting very well. I mean, he's been in the tank quite a bit. I think it was like 0 for 21 or something like that.
Yep.
So yeah, they're going to have to rotate Monasterio in there because it looks like Caleb Durbin needs a blow. That would make the most sense.
Yeah, and again, Monasterio before, never would get excited about him, but he's been hitting the ball pretty well this year. So I mean, I'm not going to get overly mad about Monasterio getting some time here if need be. But I'm telling you, this Isaac Collins thing bears watching, because if Monasterio goes into a funk and Durbin doesn't come out of a funk, can they really afford to have that left side of that infield be Ortiz and one of those two going into the postseason and have two guys offensively that maybe you don't trust at the end of the day, even though Ortiz has played better since the trade deadline?
I mean, in that case, then you might see Siegler again.
Oh,
that's
he's just as bad as the other ones. Why do I want to see Siegler again?
Because what other option do they have? They're not going to move Ortiz back over to. And if he can hold his own, if they see that he can handle it at third base, they'll put Collins there. But
yes, that's what I want to see.
Collins in the outfield.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. So let Collins play some third base here in the end of games. If you're up, 6-1 in the 8th inning or 9th inning, let's see if Isaac Collins can play third base for a couple of innings. If you're losing 10-0, let's see if Isaac Collins can play third base here for a couple of innings. I think I'm more than okay with that at this point. Let's talk about Jacob Mizorowski real quick, because I want to get your thoughts on him. So that last outing that he had a couple of walks early, and then after that he settled down and pitched deeper into the game. I think that might have been one of my favorite outings from Mizorowski. You overcome adversity, but you don't give up a run. You get the double play ball, and then you're able to go deeper into the game on top of it and get to almost 100 pitches.
Yeah, I thought that was really impressive. We talked a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember what start it was, or Christian Yelich said that was probably his best start. And he had struggled quite a bit, but he bounced out of it. That was another example of it. Like walking those two batters to start the game, you're thinking, oh boy, here we go. This is going to get ugly fast. And then you see him reach back, settle down, and gets out of it. Obviously, you don't want to work the first two batters of any inning, or two batters in any inning, however you want to look at it. But fact of the matter is, you're going to give up walks. You're going to give up hits. You're going to see people on base. How do you respond with that? And that's something a young pitcher struggles with, because the first time you get really challenged, you have the tendency, instead of the Freddie Peralta syndrome, you try to get too fancy. You try to tap dance. You try to, paint the court, all that kind of stuff. He locked in, bared down, and used his stuff, trusted his catcher, and navigated. And that's what you want to see a young pitcher do, because, again, inevitably, runners are going to get on base. How do you respond to that without letting it blow up?
I was watching MLB Network the other day, Mr. Wagner, and Matt Vasgersian, and I forgot who was with them. Sean Casey, I think. And they were talking about who would be their front three pitchers in a Brewers playoff rotation. And Vasgersian said Woodruff would be his first pitcher because he's so good at home. So he'd roll with Woodruff 1. He said he would play Priester in the 2-hole because you don't want Priester having to start a game on the road, and the first game on the road on top of everything else. And he gives you some depth as far as pitching deeper into games. And then he would start Freddie Peralta game 3, first game on the road. That's how he line up his front three. Agree or disagree? I love
Matty, but he's not looking at the numbers close enough. I mean, if you want to talk about giving the advantage to a guy who's been good at home, well, then you go with Freddie Peralta 1, because he's been pretty lights out at American Family Field this season and last. You want to keep him home. I would actually trust Priester more on the road than I would with Freddie, to be quite honest with you. I wouldn't mind seeing Woody as your one, because your chances of getting a deep outing are better with him. And then go with Freddie. You know, an interesting thing here is if you look at the schedule for the NLDS, I tweeted out a while ago, and it's on the MLB website. The schedule for the NLDS is really weird because there's an off day. There's 2 off days between the first 3 games. So you have the bye, so you're off for like a week.
Right.
You play game 1, then you have an off day, then you play game 2, then you have the travel day.
So from a bullpen perspective, everybody should be fresh in each one of those first 3 games.
Yeah, it's I mean, that really, considering the state of the Brewers pitching, that could really help out quite a bit. So, and I completely forgot about them just now until we were talking about like Freddie and the short starts. But listen, I don't know. That might be an even tougher decision than this whole Rhys Hoskins thing. Like, you have so many pitchers that they're all kind of the same that it doesn't really. There's no logical solution to which are your 3 best because everyone's so kind of evenly matched. You know, Quinn Priester, you could make the argument, has probably been their most effective starting pitcher.
Yes.
He may not be the best, but he's the guy that continually goes deep, continually gets a chance to win. I'm almost at the point where I say, you know what? I'm going to give him game 1. I'm going to give him game 1, give Freddie game 2, give Woody game 3, and roll with that.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a right or a wrong answer. I think if you would have asked this question a month ago, everybody has Miz in the top 3, including me. Now I've backed off of that because I think now you can use him like a hater where he pitches a couple of innings out of the bullpen whenever you need somebody in a tough jam there in the middle of a game if a starter gets into trouble. But we'll see how they decide to use him at the end of the day. Andrew Wagner, Forbes Sports Brewers writer, Inside the Clubhouse, brought to you by Focus Baseball. Sign up for the fall mini camps today at focusbaseball.com. Follow him on Twitter at by Andrew Wagner. Catch him coming up tonight, 6 o'clock. Leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook with Tommy Wirtz. Get you ready for game 2 between the Brewers and Rangers. Rhys Hoskins is back. Anthony Siegler headed to Nashville. That's the headline of this interview. Mr. Wagner, thank you so much.
Talk to you soon.
You betcha. There he is, Andrew Wagner, joining us. And we have a revised schedule for Andrew Wagner that we should probably also talk about. So with the Packers season underway and so forth, Andrew Wagner now will be on this show on Tuesdays, and he will now be on the Mason Crosby show on Thursdays, and then he's still on every leadoff show with Tommy Wirtz. But as far as the weekly shows or the daily shows during the week, Tuesdays on this show, Thursdays on the Mason Crosby show with Mitch Thundernell, brought to you by Verizon. So that's how it's going to be throughout the remainder of the baseball season. Coming up, Charlie's Sounds of the Day, brought to you by Prize Picks. Top 3 picks from around the world of sports. Looking forward to that. If you love Wendy's classic chocolate vanilla frosty flavors, there's some big news. They're all new Frosty Swirls and now Frosty Fusions. It's the same creamy treat you've always loved. Now with the flavor refresh. So what are these new flavors? Well, we've got the Frosty Swirls. We know those. They've been around for a while now. Strawberry, brownie batter, and caramel. And now the Frosty Fusions. I think I'm getting one tonight for dessert. They don't know this, the family, but that's my plan. Oreo brownie. I get like the chocolate frosty base with that. If you love chocolate, it's amazing. Caramel crunch. That has pieces of like toffee in it. And Pop-Tart strawberry. So clock in for sweet treat time with Wendy's. All new frosty flavors. A refresh on a classic. It's got to be Wendy's. Charlie, Sounds of the Day up next. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily served up by Wendy's. Live from the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky with you. Welcome in. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy. Steve Sparky Fifer with you. Charlie using other side of the glass. Still to come 4 o'clock hour, green and gold update. What do we got from the Packers locker room today, Charlie using? Who are the players we'll hear for coming up at 4 o'clock?
So we got Josh Jacobs, Edge Cooper, and Darian Kennard.
All those guys talked before they went out to practice today. Ryan Wood was there and was very nice to send that over to us from the Green Bay Press Gazette. So looking forward to hearing from those guys. Don't forget our Green Bay football postgame show after every Packer game all season long. Tommy Wirtz, myself, we'll hear from Ryan Wood after every game as he travels with the team and is with them at home as well. Plus, we'll get sound from the locker room, including from Matt LaFleur, Jordan Love, and other players that you may not hear on other radio stations. So all of that comes up after each and every Packers game all season long. Keep it tuned here to the Fan after every game you make the switch. All right, time now to get to that segment brought to you by our fine folks over there at Prize Picks.
What sound clips will Chicago Charlie pick today for Sparky? Will Sparky become enraged? Will laughter ensue? It's time for Charlie's Sound of the Day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's on the Fan.
All right, this is brought to you by Prize Picks. Again, download that Prize Picks app today. Use code SPARKY, SPARKY, and it's free. Doesn't cost you anything. And after you play your first $5 lineup, they'll give you $50. So download the Prize Picks app for free. Play your first $5 lineup, and you'll get $50 from Prize Picks, which, again, quick math means if you play $5 fantasy lineups, and you can pick whatever amount you want. But I'm just saying, if you play $5 lineups, you play 5, they give you 50. That means you can play this 11 times before you run out of funds on the Prize Picks app. So make sure you download the Prize Picks app today. Use code SPARKY, SPARKY, and good luck to you. All right, Charlie, using what you got.
All right, first up here, since you were talking about Jacob Mizorowski with Andrew Wagner in that last segment, I wanted to head over to MLB Network where Mark DeRosa and the MLB Central crew were discussing whether or not Jacob Mizorowski should be a starting pitcher or a relief pitcher when it comes to the playoffs.
Nice.
You mentioned yesterday the Brewers' rotation strength, and we've long debated Jacob Mizorowski. Would you rather have him as a starter or a super reliever?
I think I would rather have him as a starter because I'm a little hesitant in putting a young guy in a situation that he hasn't done. And, oh, by the way, these are the biggest pitches and biggest outs of the season. I'll go starter.
I mean, perfect world, he would be the super reliever, and you bring him in every game, and he punches out the side. I don't think that's reality. Yeah.
What?
Gotta be.
Well, first off, not only is there a temperament to it, I think there's a genetic factor, the ability for your arm to bounce back. And the fight and the grind and the want to do that. And is it valued in today's game as much?
He's only come out of the bullpen 13 times in his pro career.
He's a starter for me.
Yeah.
He gets one of the starts in the division series, and I expect him to dominate.
Fair points. The genetics part I had not thought of. When he said it, I was like, eh. And then he said, your body able to bounce back quickly, right? Some people just can't do it. And that is something that they have to come up with and debate. I will also add this. If this is something they are considering, then they should make this decision and this move earlier rather than later. Do not let him start every game through September and then get to the playoffs and then try this. Like, if you're going to do this shortly here, make your mind up that he's going to go to the bullpen and Chad Patrick stays in the rotation the rest of the year or whatever, and let Mizorowski start pitching out of the bullpen if that really is an option that you're considering. See if his arm can handle the bounce back. See how long it takes for him to be able to come back and pitch again after he pitches 2 innings in a game. Because I don't think you're using Mizorowski for 1 inning at a time. I think if you're going to use Mizorowski out of the pen, it's going to be for a couple of innings each time. Maybe it's the 5th and the 6th, the 6th and the 7th. And then you get to Uribe and you get to McGill at the back end of the game. That's how I'd use them. But as Wagner points out, Drew Wagner, hey, man, they have an off day after game 1 of the division series. They have an off day after game 2 of the division series. So bullpen-wise, you're going to be relatively fresh for the first 3 games of this series for certain, Charlie.
And it would be pretty cool to be able to throw Jacob Mizorowski in every one of those games. Like, to have that type of weapon in your bullpen to pitch 1 to 2 innings through that series because you have that off day, I mean, that would be extremely tough for almost any team that you would possibly face in the second round there to go up against that. So I think that could be really invaluable. But also at the same time, what they're saying is you don't want to get him hurt sooner than he probably is already going to get hurt, if we're being completely honest. So keep him in the same kind of routine that he's been in, and that's probably the better decision for the long term.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Clip number 2.
And next up here, we're going to head over to the Detroit Lions locker room after their loss to the Green Bay Packers. This is linebacker Alex Anzalone talking about fans criticizing the new coordinators of the Detroit Lions.
Anzalone, he's the one that dropped the pick. Whoopsie.
There's going to be some conversations about, are these the right coordinators for the team now? What are your thoughts?
After week 1?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, the fans are not – whoever's saying that's not highly intelligent.
I mean, given how you guys did in practice defensively and everything, was it, I guess, surprising that, the way they started off and they were able to –
I mean, they started off hot, and they had some – the first 15 plays were good scheme plays, and we weathered the storm defensively. Obviously, we gave up that first long drive, but at the same time, you got to take the good and learn from the mistakes that happen. But this isn't a situation where anyone's panicking or whatnot. Just we're on the road. We got to beat, and we got to move on.
Moving on to the Chicago Bears. If they lose this game to the Bears, they may burn Detroit down. The whole thing might just burn down. I'm telling you, if you think that fan base is worried now, talking about changing coordinators, you lose to the Chicago Bears after they lost to the Vikings last night, and now you're 0-2 at that point. There is going to be major drama happening in Detroit at that moment in time.
Which I think Ben Johnson is going to come in with a little bit of fire underneath him to beat his former team and prove that he can do this, especially after this last game, where there were moments where he mismanaged that game. He looked like a rookie head coach in his first game, and now he wants to prove that that's not what he is. He is Kevin O'Connell, or that's what people thought he could be. So if he wants to match that, he has to come out and play Detroit right away. And if you go out and lose that game to the Chicago Bears, I mean, the critiques are real then at that point.
So let's look at the Lions schedule. They play the Bears and Detroit. That's a noon start. Then they go to the Ravens for Monday Night Football in Baltimore. That's not going to be easy.
That's going to be tough, yeah.
Then you get the Browns a week after the Packers get the Browns, and you're in Detroit, so that should be a win.
And Cleveland didn't look all that bad in week 1.
No. Then they go to Cincinnati and the Bengals, to the Chiefs, home against the Buccaneers, home against the Vikings, at the Commanders, at the Eagles.
That's got to be the toughest schedule or stretch of games in football. That's insane. That's every one of those teams besides the Browns is a playoff contender. That's insane. How do you get through that?
With new coordinators, you got better figure it out quick, because if not, you're going to dive yourself in a hole.
I do not envy you at all, John Warren.
And then how much pressures are going to be from above to make a move if this team starts off, 2-5 or something?
Well, it probably a lot. There probably already is some kind of pressure after missing out on a Micah Parsons, who apparently the Lions were one of the teams that were in on that and making an offer for him. So that's kind of crazy.
All right, what's next?
And last up here, we're going to head over to Get Up on ESPN, where former head coach Rex Ryan was critiquing Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel with not some very nice terms.
What the hell is he talking about? Maybe he's on a different level, McGenius guy, whatever the hell he is, nerd boy. But anyway,
nerd boy.
Their team has no respect for the coach. They play like that. They're like, come on, man, get us a dang guy in here. Where's the physicality of this team? What did you say?
They're soft. They're soft.
They're soft. I'm with you on that. And every part of their football team, they have tons of talent on this team. Daniel, we were talking. That's why you picked them to win, because they have tons of talent. Yeah. They don't play with any passion or any smoke to them.
This is where my problem is. I don't like the nerd boy. That you didn't have to do that.
It's a cheap shot. Yeah, there's no reason to say that.
No, but having said that, he just wants a job, man. He just wants to be a head coach somewhere. So if he trashes whoever he has to trash and then tells them how to fix it, and then uses that to get himself a job next, then it's all going to work out for Rex Ryan at the end of the day. Rex Ryan is going to spare nobody to get himself a head coaching job. So any of these teams that stink that he wants to be in there on, he's going to be full out attack on. And the Dolphins, unfortunately, are the latest one in line as Rex tries to get a head coaching job again.
It seems like he's trying to act like the football tough guy.
Yes.
And that's been the popular style of head coach lately.
That's how Rex has always been, though.
But it just feels like he's amping it up more for this situation because Dan Campbell's out here and he's a football tough guy, and the Harbaugh brothers are out here and they're football tough guys. And those are the popular head coaches right now.
Aaron Glenn is going to be one of those guys too with the Jets.
Same thing.
Yeah.
So he wants to kind of show that he can be that as that type of coach starts coming back into the picture a little bit here. It just also seems like he's a little bit of a bully from hearing that.
He's always been a bully.
I don't know if NFL franchises want that in their coach. I think they want a guy who loves football, but maybe not to the point where he's going to be a detriment to the team.
So this is my thing with Rex Ryan. So if you bring in Rex Ryan, what do you get? You get a good defense, regardless of what he has. He'll make it work. He'll figure it out. You'll get a good aggressive defense. And your offense will be set back 30 years. So figure out what you want to do. Like I don't have much faith that Rex Ryan can bring in some Ben Johnson type offensive mind and let him just go without getting his fingers in the cookie jar. He's a defensive guy, but he also likes having his fingers over here in the offensive cookie jar. Dude, quit throwing the ball. Just run the football. We can win this game 3-0. My defense has it. Don't turn it over. Don't do anything stupid. Don't give them a short field. We'll win it with our defense. Like that's his mentality. He's a defensive first guy. If I had any faith that he could hire an innovative offensive coordinator to give Tua a chance, I'd be all for hiring Rex Ryan. I'd be like, yeah, okay, sounds good. Let's roll. I'll take him. No question. This is what I do know, though. If that cat gets fired in Miami, you know where he's going. Green Bay, Wisconsin. In the new consultant role to help out the Packers, because that's LaFleur's guy, right? He helped get that dude back into this league after he screwed up the first time. McDonald will be here in Green Bay if he gets canned.
You think there, or do you think San Francisco would try to give him the same kind of shot?
He's going to come with LaFleur. I mean,
why LaFleur over Shanahan?
Because LaFleur got him back into the league after he pretty much screwed the whole thing up by his partying and whatever else.
But they're still supposedly close friends with Shanahan. Shanahan's going to have an offense that's going to be struggling here a little bit moving forward, even though he's the offensive mastermind.
Kittle's out for a month. He's on the IR now.
You want to bring in a more creative mind to kind of help you figure something out with the talent that you are going to be playing with when Jawan Jennings is your number one wide receiver.
To understand what LaFleur does. He is not going to bring him in to help the offense. He's going to bring him in to help Halfley and the defense. That's what he always does. He brings in defensive guys to help the offensive guys and brings in offensive guys to help the defensive guys because he doesn't want to undermine the play calling or the ability of the offensive coordinator in second guessing what exactly is going on by a guy that does the same job or has had that same experience. And from a head coaching perspective, he will bring some of that knowledge too, as far as how he ran practices, how he did film sessions. And you can have all of that going back and forth. I don't think it'd be the worst thing in the world if that dude ended up in Green Bay at some point this year if he gets fired.
No, I don't think, again, that having that type of help, having a little sous chef off to the side for a couple of weeks doesn't hurt Matt LaFleur that much.
No, I think it ends up being fine. Coming up next, Green and Gold update. We'll hear from Josh Jacobs, among others, who talked before they went out to practice today. That's straight ahead. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the 1250 AM at 105.7 FM, The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, right here with me, Steve Sparky Fifer. And that guy over there who needs to be nicer to me. He really does.
Sometimes I'm nice.
Charlie Usen, right there.